India's tour to Australia. Well, what can I say? For someone who's followed the sport so closely for almost 25 years, and as hard as it is for me to say this, India's tour to Australia was never much about winning. India's tour to Australia was always about survival. Survival against arguably some of the greatest test teams to have ever played red ball cricket. From the start of the Steve Waugh era to the end of the Michael Clarke era, every single time an Indian team toured Australia, it was always about survival. From the great Kapil Dev to our very own Mahendra Singh Dhoni, every single time an Indian team toured Australia, it was always about survival. No Indian team, no Indian captain has ever been able to conquer Australia. And let's put things into perspective. In the last 70 years, India have played Australia on 44 different occasions, and Australia have won 28 of them. And India, on the other hand, have only won 5 test matches in Australia. The best that India have gotten is leveling the series on 3 different occasions, but India have never beaten Australia in Australia. And I'll tell you something. Something tells me this Virat Kohli-led Indian team may just be on the verge of giving us something very special. Just the sheer fact that these 15 hungry men are stepping onto Australian soil with one belief, not that of survival, but the belief that they can take Australia down in Australia is, I think, the biggest difference between this touring team and any other team that toured Australia. And I think it's going to be this simple difference that is going to be testimony to what is going to be a very historic series for India. And mind you, it's not just this self-belief that they're going into Australia with. I think India are going to be very confident on their game, especially on some aspects. I'm going to start with India's bowling lineup, and it's possibly safe to say that this is India's best pace attack to have ever toured Australia. Indian fans are going to be very happy that that red cherry is going to lie in the hands of Jasprit Bumrah, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Ishant Sharma, Umesh Yadav and Mohammad Shami. These guys recently took almost 60 wickets on English soil, and I'm not going to be surprised if they wreak havoc yet again in Australia, and if they do, it's going to be advantage India. Number 2, Australia's batting. This is by far Australia's most inexperienced batting lineup that India have ever played. We are used to the likes of Hayden, Langer, Gilchrist, Ponting, Clarke, Hussey, some of the biggest names in the world of Test cricket. And suddenly, we have Aaron Finch, the Marsh brothers, Tim Paine, Usman Khawaja, Marcus Harris. Hold on, is this an Australian team? A lot of inexperience in that batting lineup, and if India can capitalize with the help of their bowlers, this is going to be a huge area that India can benefit from. And number 3, I'd be lying if I said that this Australian team is the same with or without Steven Smith and David Warner. Not having your number 1 and number 2 best batsmen in the team, not having your captain and vice captain is going to be a huge blow for Australia. And just the fact that Virat Kohli, when he's walking into the toss, is going to be staring into Tim Paine's eyes and not Steven Smith, definitely means advantage India. And these 3 pointers, in my opinion, are going to play a huge role that will benefit India in doing well in Australia. But I'll tell you something, there's always another side to the coin. Who are we kidding? We are playing the Australians. They always were, they are, and they always will be the bad boys of world cricket. And if there's anyone who can hit back hard, it's the Australians. And I think India have a few areas that they definitely need to watch out for. My biggest area of concern is definitely going to be India's batting. Do we have the names on the team? We definitely do. Are they in the best of touches? I don't think so. KL Rahul, Murli Vijay and Ajinkya Rahane haven't been in the best of form. They've been in and out of the Indian team, and hostile conditions in Australia is no easy place to get back into form. So that is definitely an area of concern. Prithvi Shaw, Rishabh Pant and Vihari, very new to Test cricket. I'm not too sure how much they can offer, but I just hope the next big thing in Indian cricket, and that is Prithvi Shaw in my opinion, takes the cricketing world by storm in Australia. I won't be surprised, so watch out for Prithvi Shaw. But the big question here is, once again, are we relying too much on a Virat Kohli? We'll wait and watch, but that could be India's downfall in Australia. Number 2, we spoke about a weak Australian batting lineup. Let me tell you something, there is nothing weak about this Australian bowling lineup. 4 seamers who have troubled India in the past, and they have the pace, the bounce and the swing to trouble India yet again. Pat Cummins, Mitchell Starc, Peter Siddle and Josh Hazlewood, they can be a handful in Australian conditions, and we better watch out. And so if there is anything that stands between India and a historic test victory, I think it is these 2 pointers. And I can't wait for the series to get started on the 6th of December. There's just something so nostalgic about waking up at 5 a.m. here in India to watch Test cricket in Australia. But I just get the feeling that there's going to be nothing nostalgic with the results this time around. An Indian cricket team beating Australia in Australia. Never happened before, but I just get the feeling that we're on the brink of watching something very historic.